and welcome back to the Review Realm. It's Sienna, and today we're going to be talking about Reacher Season 3, Episode 7, and this will contain spoilers, so you have been warned. But before we get to it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. So this episode starts off, and we see Duffy and Reacher driving to Teresa's grandma's house, and they're basically just doing a little check, seeing how she's been, and this moment is really meant for us to care about Teresa and why Reacher and Duffy should save her as an audience member. But you do learn a little bit more about Teresa, that she's a good kid and that Duffy really does care about her and it's important for her to save her. So then Duffy and Reacher end up going on a plane and they go to LA and they meet this guy. And they basically blackmail him to have form a meeting with Beck, so that way they can get in contact with Beck and hopefully figure out where this deal is going to get down, because it's their only chance at hopefully saving Teresa. And if they don't know where this deal is, then the whole thing of getting Teresa is just gone out the window. So Reacher and Duffy end up getting the meeting and they have Neely go because they haven't seen Neely's face. And Neely ends up meeting with Beck. But before this, we learned that Neely was in Chicago and she was tracking down the people who put a hit out on her. And she ends up finding out that it was actually Quinn, aka McCabe, who put the hit out on her. And she was about to go meet Reacher because she figured out his location. But then Reacher ends up bringing her in anyway, so it all works out in the end. But while Reacher and Duffy are in LA, they do have a little romance form. So that's fun and exciting as well, I guess. While Neely and Beck are talking, Neely basically lays it out to Beck that Reacher is your best shot at you and your son getting out of this alive, and that Quinn is going to kill you because Neely has learned that there was another family in Chicago that Quinn used to do his operation. He ended up killing all of them. So she's like, he's gonna kill you no matter what. You know too much. There's no way of getting out of this without Reacher. So do what we say. And that is to get us the location of where the transfer is happening, where the buy is happening, where Teresa is. And Beck's like, I don't know any of this, but I'll try my best to get information because he does actually love his son. So Quinn is now at Bizarre Bazaar in Maine, and he is now fully in charge, taking over everything that Beck was doing. And Beck is trying to figure out where this buy is gonna happen, and he basically just asks, where do I need to take the trucks? What's gonna happen? I need to know so we can plan this out. And Quinn gives him an address and is like, basically, don't screw me over with this and this deal. And it turns out that the deal is happening during Beck's 50th birthday party, which has been planned sort of this whole time throughout this season. And Beck is going to have to leave the house to go and do this deal. However, his son has to stay because his son is the bargaining chip to make sure Beck does everything Quinn says. So that is going on. Well, Beck ends up giving the address to Reacher and Duffy, and Duffy and the other DEA agent are basically like, they're gonna have way too much firepower. We can't do this ourselves. Reacher does not like this idea of bringing in other people, and Duffy and the DEA agents are gonna bring in the ATF, and Reacher does not like this at all because he wants to be the one to take down Quinn, and this is basically him losing his opportunity to take down Quinn. So he's upset about this whole thing. They bring in the ATF. Basically, Duffy's career is screwed. She's like, it's gonna be bad for her at the end of the day. But they bring in the ATF, and then Reacher is like, I'm not gonna listen. He's supposed to just sit while the whole operation is going down. So it turns out it's the night of the buy. Reacher ends up leaving the van. He's like, I'm not gonna do this, and he has a sniper long-range gun, and he is going to try and take out Quinn. But then he calls Neely and is like, you need to wipe every single thing you've used to contact me. I'm about to take out Quinn. I'm going to have the government basically coming after me. And Neely's like, what do you mean they're there? I'm following them. And they're on the way to the Bizarre Bazaar mansion. And that's not where the address is. So now Reacher knows that this was a plant to see if maybe Beck was telling the truth or not, and it's basically a trap. And that is how this episode ends. Honestly, it was a really good episode, and we only have one more episode left of this season, so I'm a little bit bummed about that, but this season overall, I think, has been going really well, and there's a lot of build up to this point. Obviously, just to this episode, we've had so much build up, all this information coming at it, and now this last episode, everything is going to come and wrap up in a good bow, and I'm honestly liking it so far, and I'm excited to see how the big scene and how they're going to get Teresa out in the end. But if you're watching Reacher, let me know down in the comment section down below, and let me know your thoughts, and have a great day. Bye!